Okay, we have a 34-year-old man in Pennsylvania. His name is Robert Keller, and he passed his driving test.
Oh, good for him.
All right.
How old is he?
He's 34 years old.
All right.
Okay.
But it's okay. Better late than never.
Yes.
Where does this fellow live?
In Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
All right.
Okay.
So he has no excuse. So, like, if he lived in New York, he
Right,
just
sure.
never got around to it, right? In Manhattan, there's no point in it. Pittsburgh, you should have gotten it earlier. But nonetheless.
Right. So he passed his driving test. Everything was great until he needed to park his car. After the driving test was over, he crashed into the license exam center.
Fail. Fail.
Oh, that he really crashed into.
Yeah, he not playing, man. That is as big a fail as you can have
Well,
on your driving exam.
in his defense, the car is parked there.
It's nicely parked.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, wow, that's a good space though.
So why did he do that? What happened?
I guess he panicked. What happened was instead of pressing the brake, he pressed the
well, obviously, no
accelerator,
question. Yeah,
crashed into the building.
Didn't hurt anybody though, right?
He did not hurt anybody. Some people had minor injuries. 4 people had minor injuries. 2 were taken to the hospital for evaluation, but no one was really hurt. And, you know, this 34-year-old man still doesn't have his license.
I thought he'd already passed.
Well, he passed, but then he fucked up like that, and it's over.
No, but once you've passed, you've passed. I mean, can they take it away?
Apparently they can, with one small exception. Normally they couldn't. But if you crash into the driving center, it turns out they can take it away.
What's the difference? What if you drive down the street and crash into the grocery store? It's still a place where people are.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
No, you know
passed.
what the difference is?
You passed, man.
No.
It's over.
Okay, no. The difference is that the examiner was still in the car. Okay, so he's like, nicely done. We just put it in park, and you did a great job.
Right,
you
you probably-
passed. Washington, what are you doing? Washington. Oh, fuck, no, you didn't pass.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's how it came
You might
down.
need to sign something that hadn't been signed, and then maybe they'd take that away from him.
Yeah.
Like Jared's
Yeah, you're
point.
going to give this guy a license? Are you crazy?
Yeah, what's the difference if you go down the street, crash into the grocery store?
People do it every day in LA. They've had the license for years, and they still crash in something like this. Do you take it away?
Maybe.
Just because of the time span doesn't mean that they didn't get it.
Oh, so
But
like-
I understand he didn't sign anything.
What kind of guy from Pittsburgh doesn't get his license till he was 34?
Yeah, well, the kind of guy
You know,
who drives through a license
I
exam
know, and now we're
once.
going to learn something that there's some totally valid reason. I'm going to feel bad.
No.
By the way, I have a question. So I was asking Jesus and Tom earlier, how many times did you guys have to take the behind-the-wheel test before you actually got your license? Did you guys get it first try?
Please don't tell me you didn't.
You did or didn't?
This is
Okay, calm down. I got super nervous. It's nerve-wracking because it's
How many
it's,
times did you fail?
It's a life or death situation.
Did you fail?
It's not a life or death. Unless you're this guy, it's not a life or death situation. How many times did you fail?
I failed once.
Okay.
Okay, I think that's normal, and I was insanely nervous. Like, okay, let me give you an example of something that happened. I was supposed to make a right turn, right, and it was a really like wide street that I was going to make a right turn on, and the book says that you wait for pedestrians, even if they're all the way on the other side. You wait for them to cross, and as soon as they're all the way through, then you can turn. I got points knocked off because it was a huge street, and they were all the way in the beginning of, you know, the other side, and we waited like 5 minutes for them to pass, and there was a bus behind me honking like crazy.
Oh, which made you incredibly nervous.
And after that, that was the first mistake I made, and after that, that set the tone for the rest of the
Right,
driving
and then
test.
you're nervous to
So then I'm like this,
Right.
and we're like swerving a little bit. It was bad.
In LA, you know you're in front of an illegal immigrant when they wait for the guy to cross all the way across the street.
Like when there's a median.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, they're way gone. They're like already in the building, and he finally makes a turn. Like, dude, I got it. You don't want to get caught, but it's a red flag. I'd pull you over in a second.
Right.
Okay.
But what do you do? I've been in this situation. You're there and you're waiting for the pedestrian. Normally you can go, fine, he hasn't even crossed them. Even if it's not a median street, he hasn't even crossed the yellow lines yet. Everybody makes that right turn.
Yeah, I
What if
make
the
the
cops are sitting right there? Do you go?
I don't even know
No.
what the. Are you. If he's anywhere in the crosswalk, you can't go?
No, you can't. That's right. Anna's right.
Well, but I mean, what about. I think it's not true if there's a median. I think if they're on the other side of a median.
You can test that theory out and see how it works out for you.
I think I believe it, but it might be the actual law.
Okay,
Like if
it
they're on
might
the other
be.
side.
I
of
don't
the
know. What do I know?
No
when
cop's
I went
going to
to go,
give you a ticket like for making a right on Wilshire or a big street when somebody's just started. And like Anna said, they're like 50 yards away.
Yeah.
they're LA cops. You never. By the way, when I went to go take the written test here in LA, it's awesome. You go take the test. You're like, okay, did I pass? They're like, no, you didn't. So go take it again.
Yeah, that's
It's the same exact test. I'm like, oh, really? Cool.
Remember, I told you I got accused. I got accused of cheating loudly in front of the
Oh,
whole
right,
room.
right, right. There's that famous story.
Cheater! Cheater! That's what the guy yelled.
What is it?
Because I thought you
Yankee
could
Stadium?
take the book in with you, because it was right there, the book. I'm like, oh, all right, great. You know, exactly how many axles is it to cross a train track? Who fucking knows? You know, I'm looking at that answer. I'm like, here it is on page 67. Oh, 3. Huh, what do you know? Cheater! Cheater, we have a cheater! And then I went to the
amazing.
guy who does it, and the other guy was like, don't worry about him. Yeah, and they had me take another test, and I failed that one too, because I hadn't studied at all. And then he was like, oh, you missed 5. I'm like, I really don't want to come back. And he's like, and then he gave me that example of you're driving down the street, and you have to, your wife's giving birth, right, in the car, and you see an accident. You're supposed to pull over and help someone. Do you pull over to help that person in the accident? And I'm like, no, my wife's going to the hospital. He's like, okay, you got to be practical. That's the situation. Like that,
And then that's it. You pass.
yeah, and he was like, that's good enough.
But that's even worse. You like totally failed the test.
No,
and the guy made
so-
an executive decision.
No, but that's what he wanted. I was like, no, and then he was like, but you can't use your cell phone, but you see the accident. What do? Do you use your cell phone? It's illegal to use your cell phone. I'm like, no, you call 911. The guy has an accident. Somebody needs help. He's like, you got to apply. You got to be thinking. That's all we want.
He,
you be thinking.
he passed you based on this ridiculous
Totally.
question.
He gave me 2, 3 hypothetical questions where every answer I said was, well, you know, you got to do the right thing by people.
Ben, he was totally hitting on you. That's what was happening.
Well, I was having a good hair day.
Okay. 2 quick things here. We're out of time. Look, in this story, you know what happened? Some of the people called 911. What's happening? Well, it's like nobody got hurt, okay?
Right.
And how quickly could you have called 911? No, after the car comes in, crashes in, right? And everybody's fine, everybody's fine. Call 911. Why do you call? I mean,
People probably panic.
Well, the fire department's got to come. There's a car in the.
I know, but it seemed like in the story that there was a panic there, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm not buying the panic. Everybody's all right. The car's not going to blow up. He was obviously taking a test. He was right there, etc.
I can relate all these stories very quickly in 25 seconds. Anna, I also failed my first test.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
I feel better.
In Maryland, and on Maryland, you don't drive on real streets. It's like a course designed in a giant parking lot. And I was really nervous about the parking because a failure to be able to park fails you. You have to get an 85, and they take 16 points off if you fail to park. So I parked. I nailed it first time. Go, vroom, vroom. And I was like, fantastic. He's like, all right, pull out. And I was so joyful in pulling out that I ran a stop sign.
Oh,
I just pulled out, ran right. But it's a fake stop sign. You know, it's in a parking lot.
That's like, do I really have to park here? It's a fake parking spot.
Wait, did you guys both do it in a parking lot, though?
Yes.
Oh, that's interesting, because I was on an actual street.
I think a lot of places do it on
Right.
actual streets.
Okay, you ready for this, Anna?
Yes.
I also failed the first time.
Yes! Yes!
All right. My story is actually very similar to that guy's story, but we got to save it for the post game.